Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Proverbs 31 woman. Today, we're going to talk about the work of her hands is worship. Now, I will say that I am always excited about whatever we're going to talk about for the day. And today is no exception. We're going to be talking from Proverbs chapter 31, verse 13. And the scripture reads that she seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. Now, the word or the key word in that scripture is willingly, right? She's not fighting back, she's not withholding, but she wants to do good. She wants to get out there and put her hands to the task. So, at first glance, this verse may appear to be about textiles and manual labor, but there's a deeper message woven between the threads. This verse reveals something foundational about the dignity of work, the intentionality of preparation, and the heart posture behind the productivity. So let's examine this a little bit more closely. The first part of the scripture says, she seeketh wool and flax. The Proverbs 31 woman is not idle, but she is intentional. She doesn't wait for opportunity to knock, for someone to ask her to do the thing. She goes out and she seeks it. Wool and flax were two of the most valuable resources for clothing and textiles in ancient times. To seek these items was to pursue the raw materials necessary for creation, a symbol of her eye for value and her mind for legacy. Because if she went out and she was looking for it, means that she was looking for opportunities for her to be able to now put her hands to work, right? Put her thought process around it or put her stamp on it as well. I know that the Proverbs 31 woman is not afraid of starting with raw materials, right? You see something, you see a raw piece of clay, for example, you can't wait to put your hands on it to mold it into something super amazing, right? She also doesn't need things to be fully finished before she sees its potential. Or in this case, when you're working with people, you don't hold back of looking for others potential, right? You're waiting or looking for opportunities to promote people, right? To help them to get to their next level. She also sees beyond what's present and she prepares for what's possible. Now that can stretch you just a little bit, right? That's going to pull on sometimes every fiber of your being, because sometimes there's not a lot of goodness on display. So you, when you're looking for it, it puts you in a different perspective or a different positioning and a different mindset, right? So let's look at the modern application of this. First of all, we know that the Proverbs 31 woman is a woman of research. I know that because you like doing research, that should be a everyday part of what it is that you're doing before you launch out there, right? So when it comes to the modern application of this, the Proverbs 31 woman researches investment opportunities, right? You just don't go out there and just be ready to, throw some money at whatever, but you know for yourself that it is a good opportunity. You also take the opportunity to research the market when it comes to real estate as well, if that is something that you are into, and whether that is being a consumer, like you're looking to buy a home, or you're looking to sell, or maybe you're just following the trends of the economy, right? You can tell a lot about the economy based upon what real estate is doing. So you may want to start learning a little bit more about that. Also, the Proverbs 31 woman is not afraid to gather knowledge about generational wealth. That is a real thing. You want to think legacy, right? Think about what's next for your family and for those around you. And also, when you see raw materials or you see an opportunity, a window of opportunity, look for that in everything around you, whether that is with your children, your team, your community. Go after what's required to bring excellence in that area, to bring it forth, right? I know for many of us, we look for opportunities to invest highly in our children, but let's go beyond the four walls, right? What can we do to help to elevate opportunities in the community, as well as when you're in leadership? How is it that you can elevate or bring somebody else up along with you through whether that is some mentorship or whether that is looking for opportunities to advance your people, right? Invest wisely in them, because I will say that when you invest in them, those dividends show up in different ways, right? And it also helps you to sleep good at night, that you're helping somebody else, and you're just not harboring all of the goodness for yourself, right? But become a seeker of substance and not just being on the surface, right? It's okay to, sometimes go in and do a little good and then run out and go hide somewhere. But when it is a lifestyle, you're constantly looking for those, and you become the go to person because people can identify that you're looking for ways to be able to invest and help out. Now, the second part of that scripture says, and work willingly with her hands. That's right, meaning that you are looking for ways to insert yourself to help out. So, this is not just about manual labor, but it's about your heart posture. The Proverbs 31 woman doesn't work with resentment or bitterness. She works willingly with joy, with dedication, and with purpose. It is not just with your hands physically, but it's about the attitude at which you do the work. She doesn't see her effort as a burden, but she sees it as worship. How is it that we take for granted sometimes the opportunities that we have, the leadership roles, the responsibility of having a family and being the leader there in the home as well? Can I just say, let's now take real ownership of how we get the opportunity to bring some joy, some peace, and elevation to a certain said situation, whatever your responsibility is, wherever your responsibility lies. And for many of us, because we're nurturers, natural nurturers, that leadership is going to show up in multiple places. Can I just say, it's always good to know that people can tell the difference when you've been there, right? Good or bad, people know. So I will say, because you're there, man, leave a good mark, right? Let people know that that goodness, it dwells on the inside, right? I know that the Proverbs 31 woman hands are not idle. They're creative, they're constructive, and they're consecrated, right? Like you're made for such a time as this. So this verse debunks the lie that godly women are always passive, that they're just waiting by or solely praying in a quiet corner. Yes, she is spiritual, but she's also strategic, productive, and proactive. And can I just say that she shows up, right? And she's also, can I just say, confident, that she's also very giving, and she still wears and owns humility at the same time. She doesn't just pray for a table, she builds one when one's not available. When a seat's not given to you, oh yes, she's figuring it out, right? She doesn't just hope for legacy, she weaves it with every thread of her obedience. Now, I'm always going to give you a modern day example. So meet Keisha on today. She's a hairstylist in Atlanta. For years, she just did hair. But one day, She had a revelation. Her hands were anointed for more. She started researching the science of scalp care. She started learning about formulation chemistry and designing her own product line. She sourced raw materials like flaxseed and essential oils and created her first prototype in her own kitchen. Fast forward 3 years, her products are now in over 50 salons and two retail chains. But here's the best part: every bottle has a scripture inside the label, and she prays over every shipment. Keisha turned her hands into a ministry. Her flax became favor. Her willingness became wealth. And here's some takeaway truths to all of this. Your work is not worldly, but it's sacred, right? It's worthy of your um, your ability to be able to put your stamp on it, right? Your diligence is an act of devotion. Your skill set is an altar, and your hands are made for more than scrolling, right? They're made for building. So don't despise the raw materials. Don't despise your small beginnings. Don't despise the opportunities that you have that's in front of you, whether it's a messy marriage, a struggling business, or a dream in seed form. You are called to seek what you need and work it into something fruitful. Sometimes we have to build some things from the ground up. Just know that your hands, they're prophetic, right? What you touch has the potential to transform things. That planner, that pen, that idea, that recipe, that budget, when yielded to God, when yielded to the Lord, it becomes legacy in motion. And I will say, stop sitting on the ideas, stop sitting on the opportunities that you have in front of you. Take that and move forward. I'm quite often given the reminders, like, I'm sorry, I got a little hype there, okay? But I'm often given the reminders of, you were given that idea and you were given the assignment. I can't come over there and extract it out of your thoughts and go ahead and put it into motion. Now, if you tell me about it, maybe I could do a little something with it. But in the same sense, because it was given to you, I may not be able to do it with the spirit of excellence that you would. So, because you've been given it, make it look good, right? Make it stand out. And like I said, always put your stamp on it, right? Let people know that you were there. And if anybody's going to come behind you, oh, they have to raise their standard, right? Or they have to at least do it as good as you did it, if not better. Let's get those journals out. Our journal prompts for today is this. Number one is, what raw materials, what opportunities has God placed in your life that you've been overlooking? I know that there's a few of those, so go ahead and jot that down. And then number two, am I working with a willing heart, or am I withholding my effort due to fear, resentment, or perfectionism? Whew, that's a whole sentence by itself. Okay, that's a whole, probably one page by itself. Go ahead and write that out on today. And look, don't hold back, because I know some days you show up on that job and you're not feeling it. So you're just going to do the bare minimum. Not today. You don't get to have that as your excuse. You don't get to have that as your mantra for today, okay? Because you're going to work diligently to put your stamp on some things. And then number three, how can I begin honoring my work as worship this week? Can I just say, just do the work, right? Let's shift that attitude right now, and let's go ahead. Whether that means that you get up from your space, go take you a 2-minute walk, clear your head, make you some tea, get you something to drink, refill your water cup, whatever it is, and get back to work. But this time with a good attitude. Don't sit back down if you still are feeling some kind of way. You got a little something trying to bubble up on the inside, right? No, sit back and be thankful for that job, right? The statistics say that there's a lot of people that's still looking. There's folks that will give their right arm and their left leg and walk around looking crazy to be in your position right now. So because you've been given that assignment and that task, go ahead and do it to the best of your ability. Do it with a good attitude, a good heart, because look, things could be a different way, right? So let's get into our activation on today. Today, I want you to choose a project or a task and complete it with joy and with excellence. Whatever you're working on, like I said, don't sit back down to go to work on something and you're feeling some kind of way. Like if that means that 2-minute walk needs to be a 5-minute walk, do whatever you have to do because you want to do it with joy and with excellence. Also, speak over your hands every morning, right? These hands are blessed. These hands are building legacy. I quite often like to say that these hands, these fingers, they're a little bit smarter than I am. When I sit down and I put them to work, man, they come out with some really good results, right? You have the ability to do the same thing. Put those hands to work and speak over them, right? These hands are building legacy. Also, if you've been thinking about doing something and you don't quite know how to put it together, do some research, right? Research a skill, some resources or materials connected to your next level. Be a seeker and not just a sitter, right? Don't just sit down on that which you know you're supposed to be doing. Our affirmation of the day is this: my hands are not idle. They are instruments of increase. I work with purpose, I build with grace, and pursue what is necessary to establish legacy. What I touch multiplies because I am a willing worker and a wise woman. That is so good to me. And of course, I haven't been repeating very many of these affirmations this week, but hey, this one, I'm going to repeat it again, okay? My hands are not idle. They're instruments of increase. I work with purpose, I build with grace, and pursue what is necessary to establish legacy. What I touch multiplies because I am a willing worker and a wise woman. If you have enjoyed this on today, go ahead and put some comments in the chat because I know that all of us are working on our next, right? We are being the modern day examples of goodness, of grace, and the work of our hands is our worship. And I just want to encourage you on today to do it with all joy, do it with happiness, and do it with diligence, right? Be intentional in this season with everything that you're doing. There's a lot of opportunities out there for us to do so many things. Pick one and be good at it, right? Master it to the best of your ability. And remember, you can follow me on all social media platforms at I am Dr. Tabitha, as well as on my website, drtabitharussell.com. I look forward to connecting with you each and every day, and I look forward to connecting with you on tomorrow. So tune in and see as we continue to keep building on the Proverbs 31 woman. Let's make today a super amazing and a great day. I look forward to connecting with you then. Take care.